often are you eating lunch meat to try to meet your protein to try to lose that belly fat? Well, stick around until the end so you'll find out why this may be just one of the reasons that you're not being able to lose that belly fat here in perimenopause to menopause. In this video, I'm going to share 3 of the most common mistakes I see ladies just like you in perimenopause to menopause trying to lose the belly fat and just making it worse. Grab a pen and piece of paper or something to take notes on, and let's dive right in. All right. So I help women in perimenopause to menopause lose the weight without dieting using macronutrients. I want to just dive right into mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is consuming too much sodium or salt in our foods on a daily basis. Now, I want to break this down for you so that you understand. What I see happening is a lot of you are calorie counting or macro counting, and you're paying attention to a lot of the nutrition values, but you're skipping and you're not paying attention to the sodium value, which can be very, very important, especially in perimenopause to menopause. Before I pull out the foods and going through to give you examples, I want to tell you what's happening. When we consume too much sodium, what that does is increase the inflammation in our gut. Now, our gut is our second brain, and that is the key to belly fat. Belly fat is because of hormones. We've got a hormonal imbalance plus lifestyle imbalance generally. And so we've got to get both of those in check. But when we're talking about sodium, when we're consuming too much sodium, it can cause dehydration, which can cause a rise in blood sugar, which can cause inflammation, as we talked about, in your gut, increase in blood sugar. And those symptoms is actually what causes you to actually get belly fat, or one of the reasons, okay? So I'm going to show you how easy it is if you're not tracking your sodium to actually consume too much sodium in a day. A lot of the ladies here are trying to be an easy, fast, something quick to meet their protein, so they're grabbing some lunch meat. And this lunch meat, which is a higher quality lunch meat, it's not a cheap lunch meat at all, 2 ounces, which wouldn't even be enough for a serving of protein. We want to aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein. It only has 12. And 12 grams of protein, it has 540 milligrams of sodium. That's insane. Our daily average should be less than 2,300 milligrams on a daily average. If you're trying to use lunch meat, and this is most lunch meats, they're going to have a lot of sodium because sodium is a preservative. It helps the meat or the food stay fresh longer. And so if you were going to try to meet your protein with this lunch meat, you would be consuming well over 1,000 milligrams at one serving, not counting the bread or any vegetables or any cheese. How crazy is that? Cottage cheese is another thing. I actually don't have the cottage cheese here, but I'll tell you, most cottage cheese has between 500 to 700 milligrams of sodium in just a serving. And so if you're consuming cottage cheese to meet your protein, that would be something I would not do. It's okay to have once, maybe twice a week if you don't have any trouble with water retention or inflammation already. But most people overweight have high blood sugar, high insulin levels, water retention, bloat, and belly fat. And so for that reason, if you've got any of those symptoms, I would steer away from cottage cheese until we can get that belly fat and the blood sugars down, because the huge amount of sodium is going to just cause a lot of inflammation. Yes, I know we've heard so many things great about cottage cheese, but we have to look at perimenopause to menopause. We have a lot more going on right now, and we're not just talking about nutrients. We're talking about balancing of the hormones, okay, so that we understand. Too much sodium causes increased cortisol, and then when we increase cortisol, we're going to increase insulin. That's all the reasons right there that you need to know that we need to really get our sodium controlled in this time that we're trying to lose belly fat and even manage menopausal symptoms. Next things, I'm just going to pull out just a couple of things that are common staples in a lot of people's homes. Crackers, seasonings, chips. they're all very high in sodium. If you look at it, it doesn't look like there's much sodium, 125 milligrams in this box of crackers. But how often do you really only eat 4 crackers? Most ladies I know eat anywhere from 8 to 10 crackers at a serving with cheese or meats and things like that, which the meats and whatnot, they're processed, pastrami, pepperoni, things like that are high in sodium. These are technically hormone disruptors if we're having too much of the sodium. It's not you can't have them. We need to really pay attention to the sodium intake that we're having, okay? So I just wanted you to get an idea looking at the sodium. So that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is consuming a lot of 0 or no calorie foods or beverages thinking that they have no impact on our weight or belly fat. And that is the furthest from the truth. Here I have a 0-free A&W root beer. And rather that be a Diet Dr. Pepper or a Diet Coke, it does not matter. Any of these beverages increase your insulin by drinking them alone. Meaning it's just like having a teaspoon of sugar and drinking it. Even though it says no sugar, 0 calorie or low calorie items generally have a faster impact on your blood sugar, which is all about hormone for belly fat, okay? And so how often are you chugging one of these sodas throughout the day without any food with that? So very important to understand. This is even 0 calorie alcohol beverages. I have those sent to me a lot of the time by emails and messages. Those do the exact same thing. There is truly no such thing as 0 calorie. What it is the FDA has certain rules to follow. If it's less than such and such, they don't have to report the calories or the macros. But know that everything has an impact on your blood sugar. The key to belly fat control right now is getting our hormones in balance, right? We've got low estrogen, low progesterone, and low testosterone. And when we've got high insulin levels from high blood sugars, then that is only going to lower those hormones more. So everything we stick in our body is contributing to our hormonal balance or hormonal imbalance, okay? So that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is a high intake of sugar, and that's frequently, okay? So this isn't your occasional cheesecake or something like that. This is very, very common, and I'm gonna show you some healthy foods. I have a lot of people that eat a lot of Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt, yes, is a high quality protein, but it should not be a staple that you're eating every single day to get your protein, because most of these, and this is even a reduced fat, has 5 grams of sugar. And then you're going to add something else in it, which is also most likely going to have sugars, right? A lot of your protein shakes have sugars, or hidden sugars. The fruit has sugar. And what we want to do is make sure that we're consuming less than 8 grams of sugar per most meals or snacks. If you're using, and the most 2 common staples I see you misuse the most are cottage cheese and the Greek yogurt. And though those are great protein sources, we want to use those sparingly in perimenopause to menopause. We're trying to minimize the inflammation in our gut. The more sodium, the more sugar intake, the more 0 calorie, low calorie intake that we're doing, the more that we're increasing that. And that's why it can feel like you're doing everything right. You're eating these healthy foods, you're staying within your caloric numbers, and nothing is happening to you. So let me know, which of these mistakes are you doing right now? Chances are you're doing more than one of them, and I'd love to know which one of these mistakes you're making. And let me know, how often are you consuming cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, and what are you consuming it with? Drop down in the comments, I would love to know. If this video resonates with you, I'd love to support you. I'd love to talk with you in a call. You can find my link directly below in the description to book for a free consultation. And be sure to watch the next video.